Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the final workshop of the 2023 New Jersey Youth Transition Conference. My name is Amy Yedley, and I work for Values into Action on behalf of the YTC Planning Committee. Our presenters today are Tammi and Tara from SPAN Parent Advocacy Network, who will present on the topic, Supporting Youth in Their IEP, A Path to Success. Ladies, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tammi Kaminski, and yes, I work for SPAN Parent Advocacy Network, and I am one of their trainers. So I want to introduce my colleague, Tara, and then we can begin the presentation after there. Tara, you want to say a few things?
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Tara Szymanek, and I am also a trainer on the SPAN Parent Advocacy Network training team. And we're just really thankful to have you here today.
Great. So let's begin. So I want to welcome you to Supporting Youth in Their IEP, A Path to Success. This training is for families that can build skills in self-advocacy by starting at an early age and empowering your child. I just want to talk a little bit about what SPAN provides in case anybody is interested. We do many different things here at SPAN Parent Advocacy Network. We provide training. We have many different online trainings, in-person trainings, as well as virtual trainings for many different topics that we have within our organization. We also provide technical assistance. The technical assistance is if you have a question, if you need support, or if you're even just looking for resources, you can call our warm line, and we have family support personnel to help you, family resource specialists, to help you and guide you through a issue that you may have, or just provide those services for you. We have a lot of information on our website. You can look at our website at spanadvocacy.org, and we have many different topics there for you to choose. And again, we have our support. It all comes down to support. We're here to support you in any way that you need, and we are happy to guide you. So in this training, we are going to discuss a number of topics. One of them that we are going to discuss is what do families need to do to build self-advocacy skills and the student-led IEP process for students. We also are going to talk about what students need to know to begin that IEP process. And also, what do student-led IEPs look like and feel like for your students, families, and teachers?
Thanks, Tammi. So what do we consider when we're looking at what our last IEP looks like? About 80% of students attend their IEPs right now, and that also includes other participants like family members, school administrators, special educators, and general ed educators. And usually when we think about who does the majority of the talking in these IEP meetings, it ends up being more child study team based. So we have special educators and related services providers like the speech therapist or occupational therapist, or the case manager doing a lot of talking, and then the parent input, and then the student input. And when I think about how I would like my IEPs to go, I want my student to be leading the IEP to help direct us on how to support them in the classroom. Next slide. So because we have educator-led IEPs, there are some things that happen because of that. One of the impacts is that students don't always know what their IEP is. Sometimes they don't know that they have the ability to use their voice to say what they want, think, feel, or need. They don't always know how to go and participate in the meeting. So they might be allowed to go, but really not know how to be engaged and like giving meaningful input into that conversation. And because they don't, they lose some valuable opportunities to practice and use their advocacy skills. Next slide. Many students don't even realize they have a disability. As parents and guardians, we're always trying to protect our children from the world. And a lot of times we make the misstep of not talking to our children about their disability and explaining to them what that disability means, how we can enable them to overcome some of the challenges that come with it, and understand that while they do have some skill deficits, they definitely have a lot of strengths that they can use to compensate for any deficits that they may feel like they have. We can help them understand why they're going to get extra help in math, but not extra help in science, or why they need to leave the classroom for speech therapy or to go to the resource room for a math specialist. And then knowing this helps the student learn how to build self-advocacy skills, which is very important when you're trying to lead your IEP team or in the classroom or community day-to-day and trying to just tell people what's happening to you and what maybe you need in order to support you where you are. As a parent, you can also help organize your student by helping them prepare for that meeting. Make a list of questions, ask them what they enjoy about certain classes versus others, what supports are working for them in class and what supports they are using that really don't help them, and what kind of goals they want to work towards. Because the whole purpose of going through K-12 is to prepare the student for adulthood. So we want to know what they want to accomplish, and always stay strength-based and person-centered in our focus when we're talking to them about their needs.
Let's talk a little bit about how we can empower their skills. First and foremost, we need to teach them skills on independence. That starts in the beginning. Simple as attending your IEP meeting just for a few minutes. That gives them the view of what they need to express, what they need to say, as to what they need to build on their experiences through school. Another great option is to give the opportunity to the student to make their decision and promote independence by choosing what they want to wear or bring in what they want to eat. Those are simple skills that creates a foundation for them to progress into more of an independent lifestyle. Doing laundry, or if they're able to, they could email their own teacher with their own thoughts and ideas on how they can strive in the classroom. We do have a number of different resources, which we will show you a QR code at the end of this presentation of things that can help you and support you through this. And again, always bring your child to the IEP meeting. That is a crucial skill that is needed when you turn 14. And so it's good to have that transition in a slower way where it's not realized by the student and they've already created their own independence by going to those meetings. What is self-advocacy? Well, self-advocacy is understanding yourself and your disability. You should sit down with your child and explain to them what it is that they have, and that's them, and it's perfectly fine. To know their strengths and weaknesses, you should always be able to express what your needs are, what your strengths are, and your weaknesses. We're there to help them and guide them to make sure that they are able to work with those weaknesses to promote independence. And then have them learn how to ask for what they need. They need to voice their concerns. As parents, we're always there to support them and help them. But it's key for us to take a step back and walk alongside them and walk with them as they go through their journey. Ways we as adults could hinder or may hinder self-advocacy. You should have the conversation about your student's disability. It is not something to be ashamed of or embarrassed of. It is you, and we need to support them where they are, and we need to celebrate their strengths and what they give to society as an independent adult. Deal with students' problems for them. Again, like I said before, we as parents tend to protect them, but they learn as they figure out things that work for them or don't work for them. And it depends on the ability of the student. And that's where you need to meet them. Again, meet them side by side and walk along with them. Make decisions for them. Transition to adulthood is extremely crucial for that child's life. You should not make decisions for them unless they are in the decision with you. They have an equal right to voice because they are their own self-advocate, and we need to strengthen those advocacy skills to make sure that they can speak what they would like to do. Why is self-advocacy important? Well, it gives them independence. Simple as that. It helps them to develop assertive skills and good communication skills. And communication skills is not necessarily voicing. If the child needs assistive technology, they can still voice. That is key. There are many different ways to have them voice what they want. It teaches students to make decisions and choices that affect their lives so they can be independent. It could be simple as getting up in the morning. I want to get up at 8 o'clock. How would you do that? You would set your alarm and you would wake up. That is a simple task to be independent. Develop confidence in their abilities. Support them. Cheer them on. Make them feel like they are independent and they are making a difference. And that is key.
So now that we've talked about what we may misstep in doing, let's talk about working with our students. Identifying strengths and weaknesses help us to build students' ability to understand themselves. And when they understand their needs, they are able to tell people what supported decision-making help they need so that they can make decisions and find the strategies that work for them. Or they can eventually learn to develop their own strategies, things that work for them based on their interests. Because what works for me isn't going to work for my student. It's going to be their own individualized approach. Understanding their supports and how to access those supports lets them have a voice in what works and what doesn't. It lets them sit at the table with us and be able to tell everyone around them what they need in order to feel supported and to be successful in their home life or in their community. And it's so important that they understand how their voice can bring access to those needs being met. Understanding the benefit of knowing that there are multiple learning styles and paces helps the student understand that they don't need to match anyone else's intellect or tempo. They just need to be confident in themselves as the person they are and move forward. When you make a mistake, it's not the end of your life. It is an opportunity to find growth in yourself and build on yourself. So being able to learn those things helps you pick the style and the pace of learning that works best for you. So then they'll be able to understand their strengths and how they can use them to build success in themselves by overcoming their weaknesses. So as parents or support providers, how do we start? Well, we want to sit down and show the IEP to the student. We want them to understand all the different sections, what they mean, what services they receive, and what accommodations and modifications that they have, and that they can ask for different things with the IEP. We might also talk about who they can talk to. You know, the teacher, your case manager, the occupational therapist, and help them understand the importance of each of those supports. We want to educate them on their special education rights and responsibilities, and build them up to be comfortable with who they are, including their disability. We want to explain that their rights are important and they are able to say what they need to and have their voices heard so that they can become meaningfully engaged in the community that they are being taught in and then later on will work in. And we want to always be talking about the future with them. We talk with our kids about what they want to be when they grow up all the time, and it should be a continuous process through adulthood, talking about where they want to go, what goals they want to achieve, you know, and it really teaches the student how to plan for future events. So as the student, they want to understand that IEP. When they feel like they're part of the process and that their opinion matters, they take ownership of that document and of their education. It gives them self-esteem and a strong sense of independence. They're able to speak louder, they're able to sit up taller, they're able to work harder because they understand that everyone is recognizing them as being able to do it. So they'll advocate for themselves, they'll be more invested in education, and they're gonna start to understand the role that they play and understand the services and supports that play a role in their success. And they will start to ask for them more because they're going to understand that that's an option for them, where a lot of students who aren't involved in their IEP may not understand that is available. So here are some examples of ways students can participate in the IEP process. They can do introductions. That's always a great place to start, or they can facilitate one or two different important parts of the meeting that are important for them. I always like to have my child explain their strengths, weaknesses, needs, and interests because they know themselves the best. I can tell the school that they like math or science or horses, but it really means so much more to have your student tell them, this is what I like, this is what works for me. They need to show that they're self-determined in a way that's meaningful for them. So as we're doing this, we need to be sure that we're working with our school team to support the student from every angle. So we want to talk to the administrative staff, the teachers, the paraprofessionals, the related services providers, the bus drivers, and we want to get support and buy-in from them. We want to make a plan together that's a collaborative process. And we want to start with small things and meet the student where they are and build the student up to do more each time they do meetings. We want to have the student talk about what they're comfortable doing and start with those kinds of activities. Not all students are confident in their speaking ability right away, so they may want to write something, or they may want to show something. They have a lot of different means of doing so. And if your child is verbally impaired, they don't have to speak. They can engage in assessments. They can participate in preference assessments. There are all sorts of things that the student can do that tells us what their needs, wants, and feelings are. And those can be built into self-advocacy skills.
So as you can see, having a student-led IEP is beneficial for the child. There is no right way. It is the way of how the student wants to direct their career and independence. It explores themselves and it provides ways for a voice, which we've discussed during this whole training. It is key to create their goals and plan on how for them to achieve independence. So here is a little flow just to give you an idea for a student-directed IEP continuum. The IEP takes place without the student. We clearly don't want that. We do want the child involved because they, just like Tara just said, they know what they want. They know their needs. They need to voice those. The student presents with minimal participation and or preparation. This section is key to when they are young. Get them involved. Have them come in for 5 minutes. Have them meet the whole team that is supporting them. Student present with some participation and preparation. This is when now you've created the foundation where they're comfortable to come into those meetings. And now they start to experience what's happening in their environment and things that could support them and help them through issues or goals that they need to achieve. This is key to their progression. Students present and actively participates. We want to see this because the student, again, knows what they want and they will be heard. It is one thing when a parent says, just like Tara said before in the slide, it's one thing for us to say, but it's more powerful when your child is saying it. The student presents and takes responsibility for one piece of the process. That is a student-directed IEP. They are taking independence. They are taking parts of it, and they are saying, this is what I would like. This is the goal I would like. And then, of course, student presents and takes responsibility for most of the process. That is really the key. And at that point, it would be independence in high school, that they are ready to promote their independence for adulthood. So just to review over this training, it is key to start planning early. It is as simple as 5 minutes in the meeting, just for your child to get used to it in the early stages in your elementary years. As you increase through elementary, middle school, then into high school, you increase that time and that independence for them to say their voice. That's a big word for our training today, is hear their voice. And that's what we want. And don't take no for an answer. If there is something that your student would like, work with your child to understand and how to advocate for themselves. It is key, and it's empowering for them to voice what they want and need. And if they get it, what a confidence builder, right? So some of the programs that we have at SPAN, we have many different SPAN youth programs. We have a youth chat that is every week. And what they do is they talk about hot topics. And it's a fabulous chat. It is led by peers to work with the students that come in, and they talk and they have a safe place to speak and talk with peers on issues that they may not feel comfortable talking about with anybody else. We also have a youth hub, which is a blog on self-advocacy, community engagement, all those types of topics, which explain and help the child achieve independence. And we are also looking for members to be on our advisory council. What that does is provide an opportunity for training in advocacy and participation in regional meetings, teleconferences, leadership skills, to say a few. If you are interested in any of these three that I've spoken about, you can scan this QR code and it will bring you directly to those topics on our website, and you can apply for them. Or you can add your email so you can get on the newsletter. Here is for the resources that we've talked on and off about in our training. You can use this QR code to get resources to help you with the transition to adulthood for student-led. And this concludes our training for today. We thank you very much. We're going to open up the floor now for any questions that anybody may have. But if you do need to contact SPAN for any kind of services, you can call the number 1-800-654 SPAN, which is 7726, and you will get a family resource specialist to support you. If you want to look at our website, it of course is spanadvocacy.org.
Thank you, Tammi and Tara.
You're welcome.
We do have a question in the chat. Well, it's more of a concern. This person says they barely understand the bureaucracy of the IEP and have a hard time explaining it.
Mara, do you want to take that?
Absolutely, I do. Jill, I was that parent too. At one point, it took me 5 years to read the PRISE, the Parents' Rights in Special Education, because it's a lot of information to take in. And the mistake that I made was trying to do it by myself, trying to do it in a sitting, like I was reading, an exciting sci-fi novel, so I really needed to learn how to kind of choose where I was and pick a topic that I was, prioritizing and learn about that area first. And I chose to learn about preschool childhood disability because that's where my children were. And, I would suggest ideas like taking training with your student. Talking about their IEP really helps because I know myself personally, I learn a lot better when I'm teaching.
Mhm.
Every time I teach, I learn. So by teaching your student, you are putting the onus on yourself to be really well versed in the IEP process. So, for the sake of your student, you're motivated to learn that better. We do have some really great workshops that we always do. We're always here to support. If you call the hotline for SPAN Warmline, we can always help you and your self-advocate learn what options would be best suited to support your family based on the information that you have. And I see that you saw Monique DeJoy Wilson before. She does amazing trainings too.
Yes, we love Monique.
Yes, amazing. And our supports are free. So you can call us and we'll guide you. There's many different levels that we can support you, and there's a lot to talk about, but what I do want to emphasize is call the 800 number, and the family resource specialist will work with you. And if they feel that you should go for more counseling or more direction, I should say, they will refer you to the other projects that support various topics. It's a great support for those that feel that they don't have support. Just like, we were just talking about, it is frustrating to go through and it's overwhelming. And, so you need someone to help you and guide you. And that's what we're here for.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Any other questions for Tammi and Tara? It will give you guys a moment to place that in the chat. In the meantime, I'm going to say thank you so much, Tammi and Tara. This concludes the workshop Supporting Youth in the IEP, A Path to Success, presented by SPAN Parent Advocacy Network. Thank you so much, Tammi and Tara, for sharing your knowledge and resources and for being a part of this year's Youth Transition Conference. We appreciate you.
Thank you for having us. It was fabulous.
Thank you.